I'm a 29-year-old office worker named Steven. My wheelchair-using status is what most distinguishes me from other people. I started using a wheelchair because of an accident I received while climbing a mountain when I was a student. Many people tell me that after the injury, I would never want to climb a mountain again, but I do. It's obvious that I love free climbing. I work for a large metal processing company in a factory. I get along well with everyone and have no issues about my working environment. I often consider myself fortunate to be around by individuals like this. I had assumed that I would remain at this workplace forever, but in the spring, I received an unexpected transfer order. I was told to report to the main office. Everyone in the factory, even the factory manager, was taken aback by this. It appears that senior management wishes to emphasize that the company actively hires individuals with disabilities. I work in an office now, which is kind of inconvenient, but I have to be shown around for these kinds of things. I moved from the plant I knew to the head office, where I knew no one, because it's difficult to defy orders from above. I was given a job in the head office's General Affairs Department, which was designated for employing people with disabilities. The configuration of the workstations on my floor told you that they had adjusted in a number of ways to make room for me. When the CEO promised me up front, "We'll improve anything that makes you uncomfortable," I was inspired to do my part to support future wheelchair users who will find employment. It's good to meet you. My name is Cindy Miller. Until you get used to the head office, I'll be your mentor. A charming woman with a diminutive appearance remarked, holding out her right hand. I can do most things on my own, but when I need help, I hope you can assist me, I stated to her. She gave an enthusiastic yes in return. I thought I might get along with her, and I felt a little less nervous. You must be Stephen, I see. We're really inconvenienced that you've entrusted us with your care. It's quite bothersome for us as well. Ethan, the department manager, remarked in a voice that betrayed his proclivity for heavy drinking. He appeared to be in his late 40s, with light complexion and a noticeable beer belly. He appeared ill. At least that was my first impression. I was so shocked by his appearance that I was blind to the incredibly offensive remark he had said. My name is Stephen. I said, nice to meet you. Maybe things became worse because I chose to overlook Ethan's snarky remark in my response. I guess he thought I was hard to deal with because I didn't respond to his comment. Ethan glared as he went back to his desk. Ignore him. He speaks that way all the time, Cindy scowled. It appeared that Ethan's subordinates did not think highly of him. That's when my job in the main office started. This is only a small hiccup on the path, not a major disruption. There were no problems because the work was comparable to the administrative responsibilities I had at the factory, and the manuals were well organized. The one small problem was Cindy. It seems likely that she had limited prior experience interacting with people in wheelchairs. She was very thoughtful and had a tendency to treat me like a special person, which made me uneasy. Cindy answered, "Oh, I'll get that for you," as I was about to collect some document files. Everything is okay. I am able to obtain it on my own. I'll ask for help if I can't do something, I informed her. She was shocked when she heard what I had said. I could tell by her expression that she had probably heard the same thing stated to her before. Her cheeks flushed the following instant, as though she was embarrassed by what she had done. So, how about we go out for dinner tonight? I inquired. Pardon, Cindy answered. I want to ask you out. Is that acceptable? I made it clear. She seemed taken aback. Yes, she replied. I pressed the drive wheels while holding onto the hand rims after hearing her response. My wheelchair glided effortlessly, like it was an extension of my body. I glanced back to the desk by the filing cabinet and noticed Cindy was looking concerned. I waved at her, a little "I'm fine" wave. That day, I asked Cindy out to dinner after work. You know, I drive myself to work. Could we stroll together to the parking lot? We decided to meet at the front door of the business. She appeared a little nervous as she waited for me. I naturally gazed up at her from a lower vantage point from my wheelchair. She was wearing lipstick that was not the color she usually wore to work. It seems like she touched up her makeup. The small alteration in her profile intrigued me a bit. Not that I'm easily won over, but she really is that alluring. I said, "So, you drive." "Even though I have a driver's license, I never drive," Cindy admitted, flushed. Her feelings are visible on her face. I find it endearing because she's a straightforward person. "You two are heading out, I see. Is there somewhere you can locate Stephen to go inside?" You would spend the entire night searching for a spot. The department manager, Ethan, just so happened to walk by and burst into another snarky comment. This is how he's always been, not just with me. He frequently treats his subordinates rudely and unfairly. He acts naive as he transfers his own shortcomings onto his colleagues. My coworkers told me that although Ethan, the CEO's son-in-law, might be rude and incompetent, no one can really say anything to him. I smiled and said, "I'm sorry to worry you, Ethan, but I've researched places that are accessible for a date." Frustrated, Ethan clicked his tongue. He must be irritated that I am unaffected by any crude comments he makes. He hurriedly departed with a disgruntled expression. I wonder whether he's limited to saying hurtful things. Cindy spit out her tongue at the shrinking form of Ethan. Her adorable act caught my attention more than Ethan's mocking comment, and it even made me grin a little. As the one who had invited Cindy, I was happy that she was always surprised on our date. She attempted to assist me in folding my wheelchair as I was getting into the car. She gave me a startled look when I swiftly folded it before she could and put it in the back seat. When we got to the restaurant, the same thing took place. When she saw me assemble the wheelchair and move myself, she was taken aback. "You really can do anything." "Most things, yeah, but there are things I can't do." "And what do you do then?" This conversation was taking place on the ramp that led to the restaurant reservations door. I'll ask for assistance now. Recognizing my limitations is not a sign of weakness. After saying that, I let her in and opened the restaurant door. With a smile, Cindy answered, "Thank you," blushing a little. Wheelchair-accessible locations are increasingly prevalent these days. I disclose that I use a wheelchair when I make reservations at a place I'm going for the first time. In this manner, neither the restaurant nor my friend will be taken by surprise. The highlight of this restaurant was its brilliantly lighted English garden, which could be seen from the excellent location at the reserved table. Once we'd given our orders, I apologized, saying, "I thought it would be good if you, as my mentor, knew more about me. I apologize for suddenly asking you out." Then it dawned on me. I apologize. Are you in a relationship or something? I really hope that there won't be any miscommunication. She ran the possibility of being a major nuisance if she had a man in her life. Cindy laughed loudly at my abrupt hurry. She laughed herself to tears. "Sadly, there isn't such a man," she murmured, blotting away her tears. She went on to say that she thought it was funny that I was bringing this up at this point. I felt more connected to her somehow because of the laughs. She then revealed to me a secret that she had never previously disclosed to anyone. I too was once severely injured and was told that I might never walk again. Her unexpected confession surprised me. Cindy informed me of her high school para-equestrian background. When she had a serious fall during training, the medical professionals had given her this prognosis. When I remember the despair I felt at that time, I still wake up at night even now. That was something else I had dealt with. I had changed from what was normal for me up until that point. I was so nervous about how my life might turn out after that it was overwhelming. There were moments when I sobbed as I looked at my own motionless legs. I was not moved by anyone's words of support. That was a moment I experienced too. Thankfully, Cindy said that she was able to walk once more following numerous operations and therapy sessions. She still occasionally thinks that the accident was all a dream. She saw in me the very future she had once given up hope for, which is perhaps why she cared about me more than was necessary. She was, once again, a genuinely lovely and honest person, I realized. Cindy apologized and hung her head. "I know that I'm completely different from you, Stephen, but I couldn't help but see myself in you," she said. I shook my head and told her she didn't have to say sorry. "Do you no longer ride horses?" She nodded at my question, her face looking a little melancholy. She claimed she was now too afraid to attempt it. I see. Let's talk about the upcoming day off. I proposed a date to her for the upcoming holiday. Finally, the day off was here. I drove up to pick up Cindy, not telling anyone where I was going. Without hesitation, I had asked her to make a picnic lunch. I believe Cindy must have prepared it since she grinned a little incredulously and said, "You really have some nerve, Stephen." We arrived at a cliff deep in the mountains after our car excursion. "Where is this?" Cindy was in awe as she peered up at the massive cliff. "Just watch as I climb that." Cindy widened her eyes at what I said. My old mountain climbing friends, who had known me even before I became a wheelchair user, were waiting for me at the base of the cliff. They were supporting me because I was determined to conquer the mountains. "Do you think this is secure, despite your claim that you are infinitely capable?" "No, I'm not in trouble. Simply observe." With the help of my pals, I quickly ascended the rock while she peered up fearfully. She gave me a wave back as I got to the top, looking like she could burst into tears at any moment. I quickly returned to the ground by using a descender and a rope to descend. "Observe? I mean, it wasn't all that bad. Why don't you attempt it once more? Don't you want to go riding? It's true that you desire to mount the horse." Cindy nodded at what I said, tears running down her cheeks. She must have been suppressing it for a while. I think it's true that she was afraid of horses, but more than anything, I think Cindy had cut herself off from riding because she was afraid of upsetting the people who loved her. She wanted to stop worrying about her family. I suspect she feels the same way about mountain climbing, which I couldn't give up. "Stephen, I feel like I can confidently tell my parents that I'm okay, that they don't have to worry." Cindy was still lovely and gorgeous even if her mascara was a little smudged and her face was a mess from sobbing. A welcome celebration was planned for me in the General Affairs Department approximately 2 weeks after I was transferred to the main office. I wouldn't typically go to an upscale sushi restaurant, but that's where the welcoming party was held. Since sushi is one of my favorite foods, I was excited about the welcoming celebration. But the day I showed there at the upscale sushi restaurant, where the welcoming party was being held, there was an incident. By the time I got into the restaurant, everyone else had virtually gathered. The wheelchair's width prevented me from reaching the short set of steps that I could see beyond the counter. The sushi chef appeared taken aback upon seeing me as well. It's likely that he was unaware that a wheelchair user would be there. It's a fancy sushi restaurant with excellent service, supposedly. In a place like this, I wouldn't have had to struggle normally. My employer, Ethan, came down the stairs grinning while I was pondering my next move. "Oh, are you able to pass that?" "I'm sorry, but since you were on that thing, you can't pass," Ethan laughed. Behind me, a couple of my coworkers held their breath. Ethan spoke with a messy tie, appearing slightly inebriated. "Well, you should just crawl here since you can't pass," Ethan said, bursting into fits of laughter at his own remarks. The atmosphere there froze in an instant. Sushi was all I could think about, and to be honest, I didn't really want to deal with Ethan. "Crawl on over here, please. Did you mention that you were craving sushi?" Ethan made fun of it. Cindy was the one who lost her cool under this provocation. She skirted me and headed straight for Ethan, snatching his tie. "Have some shame, you pig," Cindy snarled quietly. For a brief minute, everyone present must have believed they were hearing things. Ethan seems somewhat surprised by Cindy's assertiveness. This is bad. At this rate, the restaurant might break out in a brawl. "Chef, I really want to try the sushi you make, but it seems I can't get in," I inquired with a smile. "Could you possibly make me a customized sushi roll to go?" Rolling up his sleeves, the chef remarked, "Okay, leave it to me." Cindy exclaimed, "I want one too, please," shaking off Ethan's tie as though she were discarding something dirty. Taking the special sushi the chef had prepared for us, Cindy and I left the welcome party site. My coworkers told me that the welcoming celebration, which was supposed to include me as the guest of honor, fell flat and was as quiet as a wake. It looked like everyone was cramming their faces with mouth-watering sushi and scowling at Ethan. I felt a little guilty, but everyone grinned and said they loved the sushi, so it eased my anxiety a little. After leaving the sushi restaurant, Cindy and I went to a local park to eat our sushi. Cindy, despite her anger, made a quick, impetuous gesture and shoved a piece of sushi into her lips. "You know, it might taste better if you take your time," I said. "Cease speaking. I'm upset," she shot back. I savored my own delicious sushi while observing her violently cram her face with sushi. Given that there were more toppings than the typical premium sushi, it was most likely a treat from the head chef of the restaurant. When I got to the office the following day, it appeared that the previous night's events had created quite a fuss. My coworkers were apparently furious with manager Ethan for his actions and were about to file a complaint with HR and management. One of my coworkers surprised me by explaining, "You were simply the last straw." Although many had long been dissatisfied with manager Ethan's behavior, they were compelled to put up with it because he is the boss's son-in-law. But everyone has decided they can no longer stand it as human beings after witnessing his abuse of you last night. As for me, I thought maybe it was time to let go since I'd had my sushi. But when Cindy said, "It's for the person who gets hired next," I was a little embarrassed by my carelessness. I had been a little conceited, believing that everything would be all right as long as I was content. I had not really given much attention to my future enemies. HR began interviewing people, and soon I was in. The CEO was also present in the meeting room that was set up for the investigation. This was obviously seen as a severe matter. "I apologize for what my son-in-law did. It results from my oversight." The CEO began by saying, "Please forgive us." This made me feel a little overwhelmed. Cindy, who conducted the interview before me, seemed to go into great depth regarding the previous night's incident and everything that had preceded it. Furthermore, it appears that they were also able to obtain information of manager Ethan's wrongdoing from other coworkers. "We're considering asking Ethan to leave the headquarters and demoting him. Will that make you feel a little happier?" the CEO inquired. I considered it for a moment. That didn't seem like a very good solution. I was asked, "What do you think of manager Ethan?" by the CEO once more. I made the decision to be open about how I felt. I regret for him. Most likely, he just lacks creativity. Since we recently met, I can't say much, but I don't think manager Ethan is bad. My reaction surprised the CEO, but not before I told the CEO and the HR manager about all the harassing behavior I had heard from my coworkers from manager Ethan. Nevertheless, manager Ethan and everyone else alike ought to get another opportunity at life. After this whole disaster, I told the CEO, I thought Ethan would change his attitude. Ethan has a wife and kids. He has a lot to protect, even though I'm single. Give him a chance, please. I bowed to the CEO after that. I'm moved by your kindness. I am grateful for your forgiveness of my son-in-law and for keeping my daughter's family safe. I'm appreciative as a father-in-law, the CEO remarked. I was moved to tears by his words. If a man with this capacity for sincere apologies leads the organization, it will be in capable hands. I thought this was a terrific company. Cindy remarked, Again, I heard you forgave manager Ethan at the rooftop rest area. In the beginning, I wasn't truly angry. Forgiving him, doesn't that seem a little conceited? I stated. Cindy had become much more laid back since our sushi dinner in the park. You are aware of my thick skin, don't you? My charm lies in that. I met Cindy's glancing glance with a cheery, it's all water under the bridge now. She was upset with me. It's astonishing how thick-skinned they are. You're a big-hearted man, and that makes you a fantastic person, she said in jest, changing her tone from angry to amused and grinning. The next time, how about we go horseback riding? I want you to fully appreciate who I am. I said, Of course, I'll go with you. Cindy laughed. No need for formality. Her smile gave me a sincere impression that the move to the headquarters hadn't been all that horrible. Later, I was shocked to learn that my employer Ethan insisted on deeply kneeling an apology. I bolted as quickly as I could when he sniffled and attempted to give me an embrace. This sight had my coworkers giggling uncontrollably. The office felt as though an unexpected wind of fresh air had rushed in. Cindy started crying because she was laughing so much. "Hey, please quit laughing and provide a hand." That's not what I would anticipate from Stephen, the independent one. I couldn't believe what she said. Still calling me Stephen, Ethan persisted in attempting to give me a hug. "If you'll make me your girlfriend, I'll help you," Cindy said in a voice that was only audible to me. Her charm lay in her audacious side that contrasted with her demeanor. "Let's get married instead of just dating," I said. "Okay," said Cindy, getting up from her chair and putting herself in front of Ethan. "Could you please not smear your snot on my future husband?" The entire department burst out laughing at her remark. Salutations rained down from all sides. The future looks quite promising. Is it premature to start anticipating our nuptials? How do you feel? If you subscribe to the channel, I'll be inspired to create more content. Until the next video, see ya.